What's up? Oh my gosh, I think y'all all went live at the same time. And hopefully we're live on YouTube too, because I have my cat here with me. She's apparently decided she's going to be a permanent fixture on the Sunday night live streams, but she doesn't always show her face, so she's hiding behind me. I don't know if y'all can see her on all of everywhere. So little fun fact behind the scenes, when you do a live stream on YouTube, it doesn't really, I guess I know at this point, but I know it's going to take a thumbnail or whatever. So it doesn't really give you warning, but I should know because I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time. Anyways, so I often forget and I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang it, shoot, what am I supposed to do? And then I make a dumb face. You can actually upload your own custom thumbnail, but y'all know me and I don't really always plan that far ahead about everything. So tonight I was just like, whatever, it's gonna be me and the cat. And so Allie was in my thumbnail. I don't know that you'll even see it unless you're watching this back on the replay. So if you're watching this live, hello. How's everybody doing today? Oh no, Kenzie, I'm sorry. You're in a bad car accident a few hours ago. Walked away with a fractured wrist. Oh gracious, I'm so sorry. I'm so glad that you are okay and everything is good. Let's see. We got Instagram, we got YouTube. Okay, so I posted on Instagram in my stories. I think I say this every time, but if you're not following me there, then follow me there. And you will get some heads up behind the scenes, whatever. And I just asked for y'all's questions because I didn't put up a video this week. Everybody's getting over the flu, getting over all the stuff. So we're just trying to get our lives back in order. So I just took a sick day and did not put up a video this week. So I said, y'all tell me what you want to talk about. So I'm going to answer some of your questions here in a little bit, but I'm going to say hey to everybody first because I like to see where y'all are from. South Carolina, Georgia, snowy Chicago. Oh, I was looking at our weather forecast today and it was 2 days of chilly-ish weather, and then it's going to be warm for the next 10 days or so. I'm kind of bummed about that because I like when it's cold. Let's see, Huntsville, Texas, Tennessee, Helena, Alabama. How about that? Australia, Texas, California, Hodgenville, probably, Kentucky, Arkansas, Birmingham. What up? Oh my gosh, they're going so fast. Let's see, Instagram, where's y'all all about? Topeka, Kansas. You know what would probably make more sense? If I put my phone on the other side of the computer, because the comments are over here on YouTube and they're over here for Instagram. That'll make a lot more sense. Maybe I'll set it up that way next time. I don't want to move it right now. And then y'all just have to watch me fumble around with the dang stuff. And yeah. So anyways, I'm going to answer some of y'all's questions tonight. We just got over the flu. There are several questions about that. I saw somebody ask how long were you down and out for? So if you're not following my Instagram stories, you may not have seen that I had a staph infection in my face, which, by the way, a little update on that. You can barely see it. It's under there. I got makeup on, so it's under there, and it's still there's still a little bit of hardness under there, but I don't know. It's a lot better, and I'm so thankful for that. I started taking Bactrim for the staph infection in my face. And I had seen several people say oh, it makes you feel like crap, or oh, it makes you nauseous. Be very careful. It can cause allergic reactions. And so I was kind of on alert about that. And after probably day 2 or 3, I was like, how about this? I'm just fine. This isn't affecting me at all. This is so good. I'm so glad. And then probably 4 or 5 days in, I just started feeling gross, I don't know, maybe nauseous kind of the whole time. But anyways, long story short, last Sunday night at the live stream, I was like, y'all, I just don't feel good. Couldn't hold my eyes open. My body was hurting, and I literally was just got on with the live stream, and I was like, I've got to go to bed. The kitchen was still a mess, and I told Cullen, I was like, I just gotta go to bed. I'm sorry. And he had a bunch of stuff going on over the next couple of days. So ended up getting all of a sudden getting awful chills and fever and body aches, which can be a side effect of the allergic reaction to Bactrim. And again, long story short, I ended up going in Monday to the doctor and had the flu. So I still don't know if it's partially a reaction to the antibiotic because that's all related, but obviously the flu causes those symptoms too. But literally that night when I started feeling bad last Sunday night, I started drinking my elderberry syrup, not drinking it. I drank my elderberry tea and then took the elderberry syrup. And by the next morning, I still felt like I was dying until about like probably 1 or 2, 3, 4. It's probably 4 maybe that I started feeling better. Went to the doctor. And then by the next morning, I was basically like, okay. I mean, I was basically, I don't know. I just started being like, are we sure this wasn't like the flu? I mean, the reaction. So anyway, then a few days later, I started having hives like randomly show up on my hands and on my feet and on my elbows, which I've never had those before. So it was really weird. And I didn't even know what it was at first. I was like, is there a mosquito in here? Like, okay. So for example, they're not like major and you're probably gonna be like, I don't even see that. But if you look right there, there's like a little, looks like a mosquito bite, right? Okay. So I'll show you two first. It's just like really small. This is like a really small issue right now. But it basically is like these little things will pop up and it's like little mosquito bites. And I'll have one, like I've got one right here right now. And they'll be just in random places on my hands and really itch like a mosquito bite. And so when it first popped up, I was like, is there a mosquito in here? Because it is definitely not summer yet. And then I was like, do we have like bed bugs? What is going on? And then it was just kind of going throughout the day, even if I wasn't at home. So it's really weird. And I'm assuming based on what I found when I was Googling that it's just hives like popping up from this reaction that I'm still having to this antibiotic. And the last dose I took of it though was last Sunday night. Let's see, what did you say? A pediatric nurse practitioner. Bacterial reaction usually happens toward the ends of the course of the antibiotic days 8 through 10. Okay, so yes, that's what I'd heard too, because I was like, there's no way this is an allergic reaction because I've been taking it for 6.5, 7 days already. But apparently it can still like be in my body too to make these hives start popping up, which I know that people have hives a whole lot worse than this. Like this is like nothing compared to what some people have. So I'm super thankful for that. Really, really crazy. I don't know. I wish they would stop because it's kind of annoying, but I'm thankful it's not worse. And I'm thankful that my reaction wasn't worse. So anyways, there was that. I was basically like completely out of commission Monday. Sunday, it was like almost like leading up to the flu. I was feeling crappy anyway. And I didn't know that it was because of the flu basically coming on. I don't know. Gaines had the flu the week before, so the kids have been out of school a lot. It's basically been one of those times in life where like for like a week, the week she was sick, I kept up with stuff and I was like still on top of it, still getting things done. And in that next week when like I got taken out, it was like everything went crazy. And you know when you miss like a week of life, then things just get really behind. So I feel like I'm still just like catching up on everything. But basically, elderberry is amazing. I really only like felt like I had the flu for probably 48 hours. And then after that, I was just kind of a little bit tired the next day. And then after that, I was back to myself. So anyways, that's where we are right now. And I'm going to answer some of your other questions. So let me see what questions y'all had. There were a few that I saw before that I really wanted to answer. Somebody said, I'm just here to say I can't wait for more declutter videos. I know, and I'm so bummed about that. So last week I'd even said on the live stream, I was like, I'm going to get up tomorrow and work on covering Brooks's closet. And then I got the flu. And it's one of those things, like I know if I started on like a Thursday, it's going to just go into the weekend and it's not going to get done. So if I'm going to do it, I want to start on a Monday when the kids are in school and I can like have time to devote to it. We try to lately we've been making like Family Saturday Day, like family Saturday, family day, where we like go somewhere and do something as a family. And so I don't want to be doing it on that day. So anyways, yeah, I can't wait to get back to KonMariing stuff. Oh, sorry. I was covering up the thing. Oh my gosh. No, we're not having any more kids. That's the plan right now. Every single live stream, somebody asks that question. And I'm pretty sure I've seen people answering it, but people are still asking it. Like, we're not planning right now on having any more kids. We're like 99% sure we don't want to have any more kids. The good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. I don't know. That's the plan right now. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get that out there. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting question. Do you miss the old house in retrospect? Does its memory give you comfort? That's an interesting question because I see a lot of people comment on videos and be like, oh, I miss the old house. I just miss y'all being there. And I think it's interesting because I'll look back at pictures and videos and stuff and think about it. And I'm like, I miss the feeling of the old house because it's a time in life that, I mean, any time in life is a time you're never going to get back again. But it was a time in life, a specific, really special time in life that we won't ever have again. So that was the first house we ever bought. We lived there for 2 years as just the two of us, obviously with our pets. We went through our 2 miscarriages in that house. We brought home both of our babies in that house and, learned to be new parents, bought all of our baby stuff, got to decorate baby nurseries. So there's a lot of just like really positive emotions there. But then there's also some really negative emotions as far as like the miscarriages. And I remember when we moved out, this was in the vlog when we moved out, and I don't remember what it's called, or I would tell you to go search for it on our channel if you want to watch it. Just look for Cullen and Katie moving if you want to watch it. But I talked about how like I cried standing in Gaines's room and talked about how it was sad to leave, but that I was glad to move on because her room, although it reminded me of happy things, there would be like things about certain places in the house that would remind me of when I went through the miscarriages or things that I felt at those times, or like the wall that I was staring at when I was like trying to process what was going on, and just different things like that. So there's definitely good memories, but there's definitely some hard memories too. Cullen's dad lived with us there for a couple of months before he passed away. And that's a major, like, good and bad memory. I mean, obviously it was not a good time, but it was a special time that we spent with him. So that's just a few of the things that happened in that house. And so I do miss it. It would not work for us at all right now, as far as logically taking the emotions out of it. I mean, I'm sure we can make anything work if we had to, but Brooks wouldn't know what to do in that house. But basically, like the layout and just the way it was, it wouldn't work for us right now. So it definitely gives me some comfort to think back on the memories of it, but I'm super happy with our house that we're in now. This thing didn't ask me this time if I wanted to like block out negative comments or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. If there's any ones of them, why isn't my cat moving in the background? She's cleaning herself now. She does look like she's kind of laid out when you can only see her back legs. I just laid her up here. Okay, how do I make this go away? This question thing. So if y'all aren't on Instagram, you don't know what I'm talking about, but you can like push a little thing, and any questions that people ask, I can like make them pop up on the screen, and it's kind of cool. Okay. So let's see. There was one question that I wanted to talk about. This is a good question. Okay. What are you doing to not fall back into codependency? So this is a really hard one. And I think it was the last video I made. I don't know if you've seen that and that's why you're asking, or if maybe you haven't seen that video. But I made a video, it was called like dealing with relapse or something like that. And I was talking about codependency relapse and preventing that and just kind of like recognizing it. And I think for me, after making that video, I've been more aware of things. And if you have never experienced like any of these codependent things, any of the stuff that I've been talking about, it may be kind of hard for you to understand even what I'm talking about here. But definitely it's something that I have talked to Cullen about and kind of said like, hey, I even read him the list, and I think he watched my video, or we talked to him on video or whatever. And I just was like, these are things I'm working on. Like, we just need to have some grace with each other in these times. And there's patterns of thinking and patterns of like behavior and relationship stuff that is been ingrained in me for a really long time. And I'm really working hard to change it. I can't promise things are going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, of course. And I'm just really working on it. So, kind of making him aware of the things that possibly would indicate like slipping back into codependent behavior, which, like I said, is in this video. There's several different things. I can't pull it up. It's on my phone right now. But there's like giving advice if you're not asked, being too much up in other people's business, losing sleep because you're worrying about somebody or something that you can't control. There's several different things. So for me, I'm trying to make sure that I stay aware of the little things that happen along the way that indicate to me that I'm slipping. It's been really kind of hard with this whole flu thing going on, and then sickness and like my staph infection in my face, because for me, one of the things was paying attention to my self-care and taking care of myself and making sure I'm doing things to keep myself healthy. It's been, obviously, I haven't exercised as much over the past week, being sick and everything. And even the week before that with Gaines being sick, and then the thing in my face was like really painful. So then when exercise kind of drops off a little bit, then I've like allowed myself to eat not as well, or not really make that a priority. Like instead of taking the extra time to cook or get up early or whatever else, I would, be like, oh, whatever, we'll just order something. And I've still done fairly well sticking to my like new eating lifestyle, new way of eating. But I definitely have allowed myself more treats than I would, if that's how I guess I want to put it. Like I've still done well with eating healthier meals, but then allow myself a little bit extra candy here and there and that kind of thing, which Valentine's is in there too. So anyways, basically just kind of really staying aware and noticing when little things start, when I start slipping with little things, and then talking to Cullen about it and just kind of pointing things out as they're good or as they're bad. If you didn't see our last video on our channel, the Cullen and Katie channel, I think it was called This Night Could Have Gone Differently. And I just came in and was telling Cullen in the vlog, it was basically just us. It was like a one take kind of dinner and a chat, but somebody commented and said it was, instead of dinner and a chat, it was Cullen's guns and a chat, because he didn't have a shirt on. So if you're interested in that, then go check it out. But basically just kind of pointing out when things are going well, or how I noticed that I reacted differently than I would have previously, and how that was a step for me. That was progress for me. Let me just give you one example, actually. And also pointing out for him things that he's done differently. But like last night, we talked about this for a while after the evening went down. But so we put the kids to bed, and they were actually in bed early. And typically, some of y'all are really probably gonna think this is crazy, but we put the kids to bed a little bit earlier because they hadn't napped that day. And then we came downstairs, and I was like, oh, the kitchen's a mess. Or no, the kitchen wasn't a mess. Cullen had cleaned up the kitchen. The laundry needed doing. Cullen was trying to do some fish tank stuff that he needed to take care of. There were several other things that just needed to be done. And typically I would be like, I did really want to like just sit on the couch and hang out together, because we don't get to do that much anymore. We haven't done it in a while. And so I would, in the past, have come down and been like, all right, well, what are we going to do? Let's hang out on the couch or whatever. And if he was messing with the fish tank or doing the stuff he needed to do, I would have found myself getting irritated and like, oh my gosh, this is the one time the kids got to bed early, and I'm just going to sit here and chill on my phone and like let myself like think about it and get pissed off about it, because he's not wanting to just come sit with me as soon as, everything gets done. Just because, that's what I was wanting to do, but I wasn't considering what he wanted to do. And I was neglecting the things that I needed to do that I knew would make me feel better. Like I know that if I fold the laundry that's in the basket, or if I go ahead and load the dishes in the sink, or just those little things that the next morning the house will be clean, that was kind of part of, as weird as that sounds, is a little bit of self-care for me. And just kind of making my environment what I need it to be, and stability and consistency and all that. And so I would have kind of just thrown that all out the window to sit there and wait for him to get done with what he was doing, because in my messed up, twisted previous mind, I would have thought, well, if I start unloading the dishwasher or loading the dishwasher or whatever, and I start folding laundry, well, then he's going to get on to start doing something else, and then it's going to get late and we're never going to hang out. Okay. So last night, I think it was after the kids went to bed when I came downstairs. I was like, hey, the kids are in bed. Maybe we could hang out on the couch and like watch something or, chill or whatever. And he was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, I'm going to finish this fish tank stuff. And I said, okay, that sounds good. I've got a podcast I want to listen to, which is also kind of part of my self-care. And there's several new different podcasts I've been listening to, mostly like there's an addiction one, there's some like inspirational stuff, all kinds of different things. So I was like, that's really something I want to do for myself to, feel good and feel better and mentally make sure I'm keeping myself on the track I need to be. So I was like, I'm going to listen to my podcast and I'm going to unload the dishwasher and, do some laundry and whatever. So what about like, let's set ourselves, or I said, how much longer do you think it's going to take you? And he was like, oh, I don't have too much longer. I'm going to do this and this. And so I said, okay, well, my goal is to be done by 9 with doing what I need to do. And then I'll be done. And he was like, okay, that sounds good. I'll try to be done by 9 too. So that whole thing went totally different than it would have in the past. And even by me just accepting the fact that he was like, yeah, I'm going to take care of these things. And I knew in my head that like I kind of knew what was going to happen. So it wasn't about that I was necessarily able to be in control of the situation as much as I just I didn't have the fear of like not doing something right. It was almost like I would have decided not to fold the laundry because then we wouldn't have hung out, or then he would have thought that I didn't want to hang out with him, or stupid. I know it's, if you don't have this like train of thought and have never experienced this, you're like, that is really dumb. Why would you think that way? But then also being able to say like, instead of saying, okay, well, can you hurry up and be done with that so that we can hang out? Because I really want to hang out because the kids went to bed. I like went through my mental checklist of what I needed to do, instead of also saying, hey, what if you get done by 9 so that we can hang out? I said, this is what I'm going to do. And had he said like, well, it's probably going to take me till 10, then I'd have been like, okay, well, then I'll find something else to do in that next hour, anyways. So that's just kind of one example of kind of how I've tried to kind of keep myself in line and make sure that I'm not totally neglecting all the stuff that needs to be done or that I need to do for myself because I'm worried about what he's going to think or what he's going to do. I don't know. Kind of weird. Okay, let's see. Somebody said, I'm probably behind, but did you read a book about this before noticing that type of behavior in yourself? How do you motivate yourself to be less codependent and get done what needs to be done? So I read several books that totally changed my life and got me on a different way of thinking and have just really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So the first book I read was Rachel Hollis's, what's the new one's Girl Stop Apologizing. What's the old one? Girl Wash Your Face. Okay. That was the first book that I listened to. Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. And it was super, super eye-opening. And then after that, Colin and I both were kind of listening to a lot of the same books at the same time, which is also really cool, like to do something like that together and you can kind of talk about what you're listening to. But anyways, we listened to a couple on like The Power of Habit is a really great book, and High Performance Habits. But moving on to the codependent stuff, Codependent No More by Melody Beattie is amazing and totally, totally, totally opened my eyes and kind of more than just open my eyes to what it was like in my head that wasn't normal. I guess normal isn't a good word. That wasn't healthy thinking, that wasn't like healthy living. It was a great book. And she has 2 others. One is The New Codependency. So Codependent No More focuses a lot on living with somebody with addiction or being raised by somebody who had addiction problems, or basically having some type of relationship with somebody who has addiction problems. And then the New Codependency talks a lot about just codependency in general and how that can exist outside of the relationship with an addict. There's also Beyond Codependency, which that's also something, going back to how do you go back to not falling into codependency. There have been multiple times over the past several months, especially before Cullen and I were able to talk about things, when he was still like actively using and hiding things and lying and all the stuff. I would find myself getting back into old habits, and I would get that book on Audible and put it back in my ears and start listening again. And it was super duper helpful. A lot of times now when I find myself getting back that way, instead of just staying aware of things, we'll turn on the podcast I've been listening to that's called Love Over Addiction. And it is great. The lady who does it actually has like a program that I haven't signed up for yet, but I'm like this close. I really need to. She's really great. And there's like, she has a ton of different podcasts, and I'll scroll through and look for ones that are relevant to my current situation. And basically, it's kind of like just going to a meeting, like Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, those types of things. People say when you find yourself like slipping back, run to a meeting. And sometimes when you got 2 little kids at home, you can't just like up and leave your house and go to a meeting. So it's super awesome that there are podcasts and resources out there like this. I'm like, I don't know how people did it before and got past things before the internet was out there. So, okay, I spent a lot of time on that. Let's see. Oh, shoot. Stop. I don't need to send a comment to myself. How do I make this go away? There we go. Okay. Let's look for another question. A lot of people asking about, am I going to be vlogging more cooking with Katie pies? Yes, I haven't done that much recently, and I need to, now that I've been eating differently. Oh my goodness. With that super chat. I've been eating better, and I need to vlog some of those recipes. That would be Cullen leaving a super chat on YouTube. Thanks, babe. Thanks for the super chat. Don't Tell Mom podcast. If y'all haven't heard of the Don't Tell Mom podcast, go check it out. He said, why are you so fine though? You're sweet. Thank you. But seriously, if you haven't heard of the Don't Tell Mom podcast, I'll give you a shout out right back. How about that? Y'all go listen to it. Cullen talks a lot about his perspective on this whole situation and addiction recovery and all that. They actually just had a lady on there last week. That's an addiction counselor. It was really, really good. I shared it on my Instagram story. If you or somebody you love has an addiction issue, if you think you might and you don't know, if you think somebody you know might and you don't know, it's super helpful. It was really, really good. She gave some great advice, and it's a great podcast. The one before that was really great too. A lady sharing her story of addiction and recovery, and whew, goodness, it was a tearjerker. So there are lots of great things out there on that podcast, so go check it out. Let's see. I find Henry's mama said, I find that I react to the negative and let the positive pass me without noticing. And it's so hard. That is what I need to work on. It's so hard to get out of that mindset. Yes, that is so true. And Cullen and I have talked about that recently too. And we've both been kind of trying to work on that. And it's so easy, especially when you've been in a negative situation with like stress and all the drama that comes with addiction. It's so easy to continue to focus on the negative. And when like all these things are positive and all these things are changing in a good way, but then there's still one thing that pops up this day or one thing that pops up this day, to focus on those little things. And we've talked a lot, Cullen and I've talked a lot about this too. And it's been hard to kind of change our relationship with each other, as far as like our communication, our interactions, like how we address each other, how we talk to each other. There's just so much to it. But definitely focusing on the positive stuff and recognizing that when it happens and realizing that it's going to be progress, not perfection. It's really hard as the type of person that I am, who likes everything to be just right and likes to have everything in order and perfect, to not just expect things to be perfect all of a sudden. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. Nothing is perfect ever. And so focusing on the progress and noticing when there is progress and recognizing it. And I think for a long time, I almost had like a fear, and still do to some extent, a fear of recognizing the positive. It's kind of like, when your kids are playing really nicely and you're like, just don't say anything. Like, don't mess with them. Like, don't say anything to them. But if you give them that positive and you're like, oh, that's so great, y'all are sharing so nicely, or, giving the positive reinforcement. This is like what I learned and what I was trained in school, is doing all this positive reinforcement stuff. And I know it for kids in those situations, but I was like afraid that if I were to acknowledge something positive, then it would mess it up. You know what I mean? Like, If you acknowledge it, you jinx it, it's going to go away. Or that if I acknowledge something positive, like, oh, that was really nice that you XYZ, in my crazy messed up mind of thinking of things in a weird way, it was like, well, what if maybe he was actually doing something that he shouldn't have been doing? He was using substances. He was like high or whatever. Um, and I acknowledge something positive, then that's going to reinforce that, like, oh, cool. Well, she didn't notice and it was fine. And she said I actually did something better than I usually do. So I'm going to just keep doing it. So to me, I don't know. That's the weird. There's so much messed up like thinking and patterns of thought and all that happen with all of this, and you start questioning yourself. So anyways, we're working on acknowledging the positive and doing that for sure. Let's see. A lot of questions about weight loss and how have you changed your eating? How have you lost so much weight and all those types of things. So I read the book or listened to the book Body Love by Kelly LeVeque back in the end of October. And since November 1st, I've lost 24 pounds. If you saw, I posted on Instagram a picture from like back in 2016. And since 2016, I've lost a total of 40 pounds. But in the past, since November 1st, I've been really like focusing on it, trying to eat better, eat healthier, basically clean eating and exercise. The book really opened my eyes to a lot of things. She just kind of gave things a different perspective on eating and nutrition than I'd ever really heard or the way I've thought about it. And she talks a lot about like carbs and sugar and all that stuff, and basically how your body processes a carb as a carb, no matter what it is. She was like, whether it's quinoa or a cupcake, your body's going to process it the same way. It's going to give you the same like sugar, like your insulin. I'm like, totally don't even want to say exactly what she says because I'm going to screw it all up, but it has something to do with, you know, how your insulin process and whatever. Okay. So when I heard that, I was like, well, crap, you know, like I would think, oh, I'm eating this like brown rice instead of the white rice. And that's so much better, which it is. But when you're thinking about how your body, like your sugar crashes and ups and downs, and that's what I was really struggling with for a long time is like, okay, I want to lose weight. I want to do better eating, but I'm like starving all the time. Like I want to eat and I don't know how to eat to stay full or to stay, I guess, satiated so that I'm not just like starving 2 hours after I eat again, even if I've eaten a healthy meal or like, oh, I'm going to have a salad. And she talks about balancing that with her Fab 4. So like fat, fiber, greens. Dang it, I always forget one of them. There's 4 things: fat, fiber, greens. There's something else. Protein? Yeah, protein. That's the most important one. Fat, fiber, greens, and protein. So making sure that there is a specific balance of that in every meal. So it's been super flexible. I've been able to basically, I mean, we go to fast food restaurants sometimes. We had Wendy's for lunch today, which I know is terrible, but I got the salad and I added almonds to it. So I made sure that I had like my greens and my protein and my fat and all the stuff in there so that it worked for me. So basically that's what I've been doing. And I was doing Beachbody workouts there for a good little while until 2 weeks ago when everybody got sick and things got crazy. So if you're interested in like trying to like rethink your health and your fitness and all that stuff, the book Body Love by Kelly LeVeque is amazing. I actually need to go back and listen to it again just because I've kind of like let myself slip a little bit and kind of forgotten a lot of things. So, but I mean, I haven't like gained any weight back. It's just more of, I know that the more I allow myself to have like a couple extra little treats at night, the worse it's going to get. So anyways, oh shoot, these aren't even loading because I read another one. Okay. So I believe that's it. Unless there's any other like pressing questions. My cat, she's still good back there. She's sleeping by the fire. She's always cold. So CK Fit, don't quit. Oh my gosh, that's so old. You can take a break, but don't quit. That's right. We did used to say that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this random question and answer session. That's what these Thursday night, what's today? Sunday night live streams are all about. I will have a video this Thursday if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Let's all stay healthy and everything go well. Cullen's sister's actually about to have a baby. I saw several people asking how she was doing. Still pregnant. She's like, I think she's 39 weeks, maybe today or yesterday. So home stretch. We're like waiting for the call any minute. So hopefully it won't be too much longer because I know she is like done and ready to have this baby. So we'll be heads up for that. If y'all don't follow them, the Southern Fried Maple Leafs is their YouTube channel. And she's the Southern Fried Maple Leafs on Instagram. Her husband is Southern Maple Woodworks, I think. I'm not really, he would kill me because I realized I wasn't following his Instagram account until the other day. But we love Corey and he's great. So Brittany and Corey, y'all go follow them. They're seriously about to have their baby any day now. So super exciting. We can't wait to have a new niece and for the kids to have a new cousin. Gaines is so excited that she gets to be the big cousin this time because she's been the little cousin to everybody always. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys Thursday with the video. Okay. Bye to YouTube. I'm going to talk to Instagram for a couple more minutes because I can't end y'all at the same time. They always get a little behind the scenes of the ending. Bye.